GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, Montreal. Tonight we'll look at the looming shutdown of the Montreal Film Lab and the city's new fast-track plan to renovate 45 vacant homes for vulnerable families, plus a severe thunderstorm watch over the South Shore. Traffic is clear. Over to you, Emma.
The Comedy Legends Showcase begins tonight at 8 o'clock, featuring veteran performers like Jean-Claude Vanier and Sophie Tremblay at the Mainstage Theatre on St. Laurent Boulevard.
Tickets cost $15 for adults, $10 for students, and are complimentary for seniors, with doors opening 30 minutes early to allow audience members to mingle before the 90-minute show.
A charity raffle will run during intermission, offering a signed copy of the new comedy anthology from local writer Lucien Bouchard, with proceeds supporting the Community Arts Fund.
We've got a full evening ahead, so let's get started now, Emma, and bring those stories to our listeners together. Good evening, Montreal. The city's last film processing laboratory is in the throes of closure. Officials confirmed this afternoon. The privately owned lab, one of the few North American facilities still able to develop celluloid for professional productions, is shutting its doors as reduced investment in Quebec's audiovisual sector squeezes its finances. The owner told reporters that declining local funding and the shift toward digital workflows have made the operation unsustainable. Employees face an uncertain future while filmmakers worry about losing a rare resource on the island. Industry groups say the loss could force productions to send reels to distant labs, adding time and cost. Local cultural officials have urged the provincial government to consider measures that might preserve such niche infrastructure. The closure process is expected to continue over the coming weeks as the company winds down its equipment and fulfills remaining contracts.
Mayor Soria Martinez Ferrada announced today that the city is allocating $540,000 to accelerate the renovation of 45 vacant homes for vulnerable residents. The fast-track program will convert the empty units into affordable shelter, aiming to ease the housing affordability crisis that has left many families scrambling for safe, stable housing. City officials say the funding will cover essential repairs, upgrades to heating and plumbing, and accessibility improvements, allowing the homes to be ready for occupancy within months. By repurposing existing vacant properties, the initiative seeks to provide immediate relief while avoiding new construction delays. The mayor emphasized that the effort is part of a broader strategy to address the shortage of affordable housing across the island. Council members have pledged oversight to ensure the renovations meet safety standards and are completed on schedule, with the first renovated unit expected to open its doors by autumn.
Western University researchers spent the weekend of June 2026 conducting field investigations into heavy rain flooding that struck the South Shore and the island's western side. Teams moved across the affected neighborhoods, collecting water level data, soil samples, and damage assessments to map the extent of the inundation. The study focused on the Montreal corridor and the municipalities along the St. Lawrence where runoff overwhelmed drainage systems. Findings will feed into regional climate models aimed at improving forecasts of extreme precipitation events. The field teams recorded river flow rates on nearby St. Lawrence tributaries and captured photographs of damaged roadways. They also spoke with residents who described how quickly floodwaters surged into streets and basements. Officials from both provinces welcomed the collaboration, noting that the recent storms highlighted gaps in infrastructure resilience. The researchers plan to publish a report within weeks, offering insights that could inform mitigation strategies across the province.
A severe thunderstorm watch is now in effect for the South Shore, as weather officials warn of possible violent storms across the region. The watch issued this morning signals conditions favorable for strong winds, large hail, and intense lightning. Residents in municipalities such as Longueuil, Brossard, and St. Lambert are advised to remain alert and secure outdoor items that could become projectiles. Emergency services are on standby, and local schools have been told to monitor conditions for any impact on after-school activities. Drivers are urged to exercise caution on highways 15 and 40, where sudden downpours could reduce visibility and create slick road surfaces. The Meteorological Service of Canada will continue to update the public as the situation evolves, and the watch remains active through the evening. Power outages may occur, so households should keep flashlights handy and follow local alerts on radio or mobile.
The province's strawberry fields are buzzing with activity as the 2026 harvest unfolds in record abundance. Josiane Cormier of the Quebec Strawberry and Raspberry Producers Association says growers are seeing both high yields and exceptional quality, thanks to an unusually wet spring. Consistent rainfall has kept soil moisture optimal, allowing berries to develop a sweet flavor and firm texture. Farmers across the region report that the steady downpours have reduced the need for supplemental irrigation, cutting costs while boosting output. Market stalls from the eastern townships to the Montreal are already stocked with plump, ruby red fruit. Local food banks and restaurants are benefiting from the fresh supply, with many planning special strawberry menus this summer, and distributors expect the surplus to keep prices stable through the summer. The association continues to monitor the season, encouraging producers to maintain careful handling as the harvest progresses. Coming up, we'll explore Quebec's commitment of $44 million to restore Lake St. Pierre, a vital step for our waterways. We will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the break. Let's dive into today's local stories with Emma Leclerc right after this.
Quebec's government has announced a 44 million Canadian dollar investment to revive the ecosystem of Lake St. Pierre. The funding, spread across 5 years from 2026 to 2021, will support a provincial restoration program aimed at reversing the lake's recent ecological decline. Lake St. Pierre, a sizable body of water on the St. Lawrence River, supplies drinking water, supports local fisheries, and offers recreation for families throughout the region. Officials say the money will finance water quality monitoring, habitat reconstruction, and the removal of invasive species, steps intended to improve fish populations and make the shoreline safer for swimmers. Residents who rely on the lake for leisure or livelihood can expect gradual improvements as the plan unfolds over the next half-decade. Tourism operators expect cleaner waters to draw more boaters and anglers, boosting income. The province aims for gains in water clarity and biodiversity by the program's end.
An initiative announced today by the West Island Aid Fund will reshape the former post office on the island into a sizable community hub aimed at tackling the surge in food insecurity. The plan calls for a full renovation that will provide a kitchen, pantry, and distribution space where families can access affordable groceries and meals. Officials say the center will also host nutrition workshops, job training sessions, and a weekly market for local producers. By repurposing the historic building, the fund hopes to create a permanent walk-in resource for residents who have felt the strain of rising prices and limited access to fresh food. Construction is slated to begin later this summer, with the first services expected to roll out early next year, offering a new safety net for the neighborhood.
Yesterday, the city recognized longtime Canadians forward Brendan Gallagher with the honorary citizen title. After 14 seasons wearing the blue and white, Gallagher had surprised fans by asking for a trade, but officials still chose to celebrate his contributions on and off the ice. The ceremony took place at City Hall, where the mayor presented the medal and highlighted the player's community work and memorable moments that have become part of everyday conversation at local cafes and school gyms. Residents recalled his gritty style and clutch goals that often sparked celebrations in neighborhood bars. While his future team remains uncertain, the honor underscores the lasting bond between the player and the people who grew up watching his battles in the rink. The city hopes the gesture will keep the spirit of the game alive across the boroughs.
The city's hockey community will soon turn its focus to a major medical procedure for one of its most beloved athletes. Marie-Philippe Poulin, a 6-time Olympic gold medalist and a cornerstone of the national women's team, is scheduled to undergo knee surgery in July. Team officials confirmed the operation will be performed at a Montreal hospital, with head coach Daniel Sauvageau emphasizing the importance of a full recovery before the next season. Poulin's absence will be felt on the ice and in local rinks, where young players look up to her as a role model. Fans are expected to follow the progress closely, and the team's medical staff has outlined a rehabilitation plan aimed at returning her to competition as safely and swiftly as possible. The operation follows established protocols for athletes with similar knee injuries.
Heavy rains over the weekend of June 20th and 21st sent floodwaters crashing through Fox Street in Pierre-Fon, leaving dozens of homes underwater. The third such inundation this year prompted residents to band together, pulling furniture, sandbags, and wet carpets onto the street as water receded. Volunteers from the neighborhood and municipal crews arrived by Sunday, hauling out mud and debris while families began the painstaking task of drying walls and salvaging belongings. Officials confirmed that the torrent was the latest in a series of 3 flood events that have struck the Pierre-Fon Roxborough area this season. Cleanup efforts continue into this week, with local charities supplying towels and temporary storage for displaced items. Authorities are monitoring weather forecasts closely, warning that further rain could test the already strained drainage system.
Now let's turn to our meteorologist for a quick look at tonight's forecast across the island.
A west-swinging jet and rising pressure are pulling dry air into Montreal, ending tonight's brief rain. On this day, the city once baked to 32.5 degrees in 2016, a record set during an early summer heat wave that pushed the whole province into the upper 30s. The coldest June 26 on record fell to 9.9 degrees in 2018, when an unusually deep Arctic trough dragged frigid air far south. By contrast, today's climatological average hovers around 22 degrees with a typical low near 15. So the current reading sits comfortably between those extremes, reminding us how variable early summer can be. The live radar shows a narrow band of rain sliding eastward across the South Shore, with the heaviest echoes arriving over the island just after 6 this evening. The storm is moving with the mid-level jet at roughly 106 kilometers per hour, so the rain will taper off by 7. Beyond the city, the air mass is already clearing, leaving a mostly cloud-filled sky that will persist through the night. Let's turn now to tonight's outlook. At 6 this evening, Montreal sits at 22 degrees with mostly cloudy skies and humidity of 72%. A light west wind at 3 kilometers per hour drifts through, while pressure is near average and beginning to rise, signaling a gradual influx of drier air. Overhead, the jet stream streams west at 106 kilometers per hour, keeping the upper atmosphere stable. The UV index reads 4, and the nighttime low will dip to 15 degrees. Winds will only reach a peak of 11 kilometers per hour from the south, well below any advisory threshold. No rain is expected after the brief shower that ended at 7. However, a severe thunderstorm watch remains in effect for Lacal and Saint-Jean-Marieville, so remain alert to rapid changes. With the atmosphere settling, we now look ahead to the 5-day period. Saturday will be overcast with a high of 24 and a low of 15, the clouds lingering as the jet remains westward. Sunday clears dramatically, reaching a high of 26 and a low of 15, offering the most sunshine of the period. Monday returns to overcast skies and a high of 27, low 15, as moist air again pushes in from the south. Tuesday brings the warmest daytime temperature at 25, but the low climbs to 20, and a 50% chance of rain will keep the sky busy. Wednesday peaks at 30 degrees with a low of 21, partly cloudy, and only a 25% rain risk, marking the start of a brief heat spell. The pattern shows the jet shifting north, allowing warmer air to dominate midweek before a possible cool down later. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Stay tuned for traffic, a peek at tonight's Comedy Legends lineup, and a spotlight on VG Gourmet's plant-based success. We will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
All major routes are flowing freely this midday. Autoroute Quinns, Autoroute 5, and St. Laurent Boulevard show no slowdown, and downtown corridors like Rue St. Denis and Rue St. Catherine are moving at normal speed. No accidents, construction, or transit delays have been reported. Expect that pattern to hold through the early afternoon, but keep an eye on Autoroute 5 near the Descaries interchange as the evening rush begins to build. The southwest corridor on Boulevard St. Laurent may start to thicken after 4 o'clock, especially near the Université de Montreal campus. If you're heading west on Autoroute 15 toward the airport, traffic should stay light for now. For commuters heading downtown, the best routes remain Rue Shai Arbrook and Rue St. Laurent, which are still clear. As we move toward the evening peak, anticipate slower speeds around the downtown core and the Ville Marie Tunnel. That's the traffic picture for now.
Tonight, the Jazz Festival crowns the evening with Diana Krall at the Salle Wilfrid Pelletier, part of her 2-night run. The Grammy-winning pianist will weave her signature blend of swing and romance, a perfect soundtrack for a summer night in Montreal. Her silky voice and elegant piano will turn any rooftop patio into a lounge. Just a couple of blocks away, Comedy Legends takes over Deli Planet onto La Gauchetière. Doors swing open at 7, the show kicks off at 9, and the city's sharpest stand-up talent will keep you laughing until the lights come up. If you prefer strings over punchlines, the Festival International de Jazz rolls on with Flor Laurentian at the Mason Symphonique, a soaring orchestral jazz experience that showcases the festival's daring collaborations. Looking ahead, the Soif de Cider Cider Festival launches this weekend in Lachin Park, promising sparkling tastings and live music for a breezy Saturday stroll. And now here's Jason with sports.
Here's the latest on Montreal's teams, from the pitch to the ice. Ottawa Rapid edged Montreal Roses FC by a 2-1 margin, extending their league lead to a 4-point cushion at the top of the National Soccer League. The loss keeps the Roses in second place, sharpening the rivalry as the season heads into its final stretch. Montreal City Council conferred honorary citizenship on Canadiens forward Brendan Gallagher during a ceremony at City Hall Thursday afternoon. The accolade recognizes his contributions both on the ice and in the community, underscoring the deep connection between the player and the city that supports him. Goaltending legend Carey Price of the Montreal Canadiens was elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame on Monday, joining Piers Pekka-Rin, Keith Tkachuk and Cindy Curley in the player category. The honor caps a storied career and adds to the franchise's proud history.
VG Gourmet, born in a modest kitchen on the island of Montreal, has become a national plant-based food brand. Founders Chantal Becker and Emmanuel Castil started with a handful of recipes, driven by a belief that tasty, cruelty-free meals could be part of every Montreal kitchen. In just a few short years, they've expanded from local farmers' markets to shelves across Canada, earning a feature on Global News Morning that highlighted their rapid rise. Their success is reshaping the city's culinary landscape, giving diners more sustainable choices and inspiring other entrepreneurs to think bigger. It's a reminder that Montreal's creativity can feed the whole country, one delicious bite at a time. And finally, we celebrate Brendan Gallagher's honor as a new citizen of Montreal, a true hometown hero shining bright.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
On St. Laurent Boulevard, just beyond the bustling market stalls, the scent of fresh herbs and toasted bread drifts from the open kitchen of Mon Lapin. Tonight, the restaurant's owner and chef-owner François Lemaire lifts a modest wooden board bearing a simple ribbon that reads 5th in the North America's 50 Best. He's surrounded by a small crowd of regulars, students from the nearby university, a retired couple who come for the rabbit pâté, and a young family celebrating a birthday. Earlier this week, the world's 50 Best organization announced its North American list, and Montreal proudly claimed 4 of the coveted spots. Alongside Mon Lapin, the beloved bistro Le Saint Sulpice, the inventive vegan spot Vegatel, and the historic Café des Artistes all earned places among the continent's elite. The news sparked spontaneous applause in cafes across the city. What makes this moment truly special is not just the rankings, but the shared pride of a community that turns its neighborhoods into kitchens of creativity. As the evening lights glow over St. Laurent, we are reminded that Montreal's spirit is best tasted when we gather around a table.
On an early evening along St. Laurent, commuters gathered on the Orange Line platform at Berry-UQAM, waiting as the lights flickered and an unexpected announcement halted trains for what felt like an eternity. Emergency crews in bright jackets arrived, their radios crackling, while a young mother coaxed her restless toddler with a soft lullaby and a street musician tucked his violin under his arm, offering a spontaneous duet to ease the tension. As the clock inched toward dinner, the scent of fresh pretzels from a nearby kiosk mingled with the hum of conversation, turning the pause into a brief community vignette. Within an hour, the technicians cleared the track, the doors whooshed open, and the Orange Line surged back to life, carrying passengers home with a renewed sense of gratitude. Faces that had been furrowed softened, and the city's rhythm resumed its familiar beat. A baker from a nearby boulangerie handed out warm croissants to a few grateful riders, and a commuter paused to thank the crew, their voices echoing in the tunnel. It's moments like these, when strangers share a smile in a subway corridor, that remind us how resilient Montreal truly is.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us this evening. It was a privilege to share the inspiring news of Brendan Gallagher being named an honorary citizen of our city. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. Until then, stay safe and keep the sunset in your heart.